मुझे सब याद है, कुछ भी नहीं भूला हूं। ये कहा देश के सीजेआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ ने कोर्ट में कहा। किस बारे में कहा बताते हैं। मणिपुर की हिंसा से जुड़े मामले पर कहा। एनआईटी के छात्रों के वकील ने चीफ जस्टिस चंद्रचूड़ के सामने मुद्दे को उठाया और कहा कि अगर जल्द इन छात्रों को शिफ्ट नहीं किया गया तो उनका 1 साल बर्बाद हो जाएगा। देश के मुख्य न्यायाधीश डीवाई चंद्रचूड़, उनकी अध्यक्षता वाली 3 जजों की खंडपीठ बुधवार को 8 मई को किसी मामले पर सुनवाई कर रही थी। तभी बेंच के सामने एक वरिष्ठ वकील ने मणिपुर एनआईटी का मामला उठाया और उस पर तुरंत सुनवाई करने की मांग कर दी। इस पर सीजीआई ने कहा, हाँ, मुझे सब याद है, भूला नहीं हूं, मैं जल्द मामले को देखता हूं। दरअसल कुकी छात्र संगठन ने एक जनहित याचिका दायर की है, जिसमें राष्ट्रीय प्रौद्योगिकी संस्थान यानी एनआईटी मणिपुर के 38 आदिवासी विस्थापित छात्रों को देश के अन्य एनआईटी में शिफ्ट करने की मांग की गई है। याचिकाकर्ता ने मुख्य न्यायाधीश डीवाई चंद्रचूड़, जस्टिस जेबी पारदीवाला और जस्टिस मनोज मिश्रा की पीठ को बताया कि 38 छात्रों में से 17 शरणार्थी शिविरों में रह रहे हैं और बाकी राज्यों के बाहर रह रहे हैं। लाइव लॉ के मुताबिक पिछली सुनवाई पर मार्च में ही सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इस मामले में केंद्र को नोटिस जारी किया था, लेकिन इस पर अब तक कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होने की वजह से छात्र परेशान हो गए हैं। छात्रों के वकीलों ने चीफ जस्टिस के सामने मुद्दे को उठाते हुए कहा कि अगर जल्द इन छात्रों को स्थानांतरित नहीं किया जाता है तो उनका 1 साल बर्बाद हो जाएगा। छात्रों की जनहित याचिका में पाठ्यक्रमों को अन्य राज्यों के एनआईटी में स्थानांतरित करने के और ऑनलाइन आवेदन दाखिल करने और दस्तावेज जमा करने की जरूरतों को समाप्त कर स्थानांतरण प्रक्रिया को सरल बनाने की मांग की गई है। छात्रों ने इसके पीछे तर्क दिया कि विस्थापित छात्रों के पास ना तो मार्कशीट है, ना ही उससे संबंधित कोई कागज। याचिकाकर्ता का मुख्य तर्क यह है कि मणिपुर में जातीय हिंसा के कारण उनकी शिक्षा और करियर दांव पर लग चुका है। बता दें, पिछले साल गैर जनजातीय मैतेई समुदाय को अनुसूचित जनजाति का दर्जा देने की 10 साल पुरानी अनुशंसा पर सरकार को आगे की कार्रवाई करने के मणिपुर हाईकोर्ट के निर्देश के बाद मणिपुर में जातीय हिंसा भड़क गई थी। राज्य में कुकी और मैतेई जनजातीय समूहों के बीच खूनी और हिंसक झड़पें हुई। इससे पूरा राज्य जलने लगा था। सरकार ने एहतियातन कई संस्थानों और विश्वविद्यालयों को बंद करने का आदेश दे दिया था और वहां पढ़ रहे छात्रों को दूसरी जगह पर शिफ्ट किया गया था। आपको साथ ही ये भी याद दिला दें कि सीजेआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ ने मणिपुर पर सुओ मोटो लिया था और उन्होंने मणिपुर में हो रही हिंसा पर सरकार को फटकार लगाई थी। तब तक किसी ने भी मणिपुर के मुद्दे पर कोई गंभीरता नहीं दिखाई थी। मणिपुर जल रहा था और सरकार खामोश थी। मणिपुर जल रहा था और तमाम महिला आयोग चुप्पी साधे बैठे थे। मणिपुर जल रहा था और पूरे देश में सिर्फ चर्चा हो रही थी। उस वक्त सीजीआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ ने सुओ मोटो लेकर मणिपुर के मामले पर सरकार को जगाया था। बड़ा सवाल यह है कि जिस तरह से मणिपुर की स्थिति को लोग भूल रहे हैं, इस कोर्ट में उस मामले की चर्चा करके इसे एक बार फिर से जिंदा करने की कोशिश की गई है। और उससे भी बड़ी बात यह है कि देश के सीजीआई डीवाई चंद्रचूड़ ने जब ये कहा कि मैं भूला नहीं हूं, मुझे सब कुछ याद है और इस मामले को मैं जल्द देखता हूं, तो इसका मतलब साफ है, देश के सीजीआई मणिपुर के मामले पर जल्द ही कोई अपना फैसला सुना सकते हैं, जिसका इंतजार पूरा मणिपुर कर रहा होगा और तमाम वो लोग कर रहे होंगे जो कि मणिपुर में होने वाली उस जातीय हिंसा को देखकर दुखी हो गए होंगे, जो ये सोचते हैं कि मणिपुर को न्याय मिलना चाहिए।
Mr. Dandapani was born on 11 May 1943. He began his legal career by acquiring his degree in law from the Government Law College, Ernakulam, and commenced his practice in 1968 as junior to S. Ishwar Iyer, who was a respected advocate of the Kerala High Court. He formed a personal and professional alliance with his law college peer, Sumati. Together, they established an independent practice and swiftly gained recognition within the legal community. Clients began to throng the office of this lawyer couple, who meticulously prepared the briefs and presented them impressively before the courts. Their firm, Dandapani Associates, became synonymous with legal expertise in days when there were few law firms. The firm holds the record for the maximum number of company cases filed and disposed of in a single day. Mr. Dandapani's practice spanned across civil, criminal, constitutional, and administrative matters, and he appeared in all fora from tribunals to the Supreme Court. Statutory corporations, corporate bodies, and local self-government institutions had him on retainer. He was elected as president of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association in 1995. It was at his instance, as the president of the association, that display boards showing the status of cases being taken up in various courts were put up for the first time in the Kerala High Court, a forerunner for technological advancement. This proved to be a boon for lawyers anxiously rushing up from one court to another, anticipating when their cases would be taken up. In 1996, Mr. Dandapani was elevated to the bench of the Kerala High Court, but he could not quite shake the thrill of arguing, and he soon returned to the bar and resumed his practice. His decision to leave judgeship did not diminish his desire to contribute to the nation, and he would go on to serve as the Advocate General of Kerala. In 2007, the full court of the High Court of Kerala designated Mr. K.P. Dandapani, together with his wife, Sumati, as senior counsel. Mr. Dandapani transcended his role as a legal expert, extending his influence as a confidant, guide, and as an integral part of the lives of those around him, whom he nurtured. He possessed an exceptional talent for nurturing personal connections with colleagues and associates, regarding them with the same care and consideration as he did his own. Mr. Dandapani spurned the stereotype of a maverick lawyer who was a terror to work with. Instead, he groomed an array of junior associates, many of whom are reputed senior counsel with a flourishing practice today. Some of them have adorned the bench. His unwavering devotion and steadfastness were apparent in all facets of his existence. His legacy will live on, not only in the legal community, but also in the countless lives he touched with his kindness, generosity, and commitment to justice. In the tapestry of India's legal heritage, Mr. R.D. Agarwala's name shines bright as a beacon of excellence, integrity, and warmth. Born on 9 July 1936, his formative years in Farrukhabad was shaped by his participation in the Uttar Pradesh Battalion of the National Cadet Corps, instilling in him a commitment to physical fitness and a sense of duty towards his country and fellow citizens, a commitment that remained steadfast throughout his life. Mr. Agarwala pursued his higher education at Allahabad University, where he earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1956, followed by a Bachelor's of Law degree in 1959. Upon completing his legal studies, Mr. Agarwala exhibited exceptional merit by excelling in the Judicial Service Examination for the states of Bihar and Rajasthan in the same year. His performance earned him placements in both states, with the distinction of securing the top position in the Judicial Service Examination for the state of Bihar. He chose, however, to serve in the judiciary of Rajasthan. In 1970, with the establishment of the Delhi Judicial Service, Mr. R.D. Agarwala embraced a new chapter in his career, dedicating his expertise and leadership to the nascent judicial system of the capital city. He transitioned into legal practice with his selection by the UPSC as a senior government advocate in 1983. During this period, he also served as the in charge of the Central Agency section of the Ministry of Law and Justice, representing the central government, participating states, Delhi Police, and the CBI before this court. Mr. R.D. Agarwala remained actively engaged in the legal arena for over 25 years, handling important arbitration and service cases before constitutional courts. In April 2001, he was designated as a senior advocate by the Delhi High Court, a testament to his legal skills and contribution to the legal fraternity. His personal life was enriched by a myriad of passions. One of them was music, particularly ghazals. Whether listening to the soul-stirring melodies of legendary ghazal singers, attending live performances, or hosting karaoke sessions with family and friends, he found immense joy and fulfillment in the world of music. He captivated all with his eloquent quotes, enchanting shairi, and amusing anecdotes. That even at the age of 87, Mr. R.D. Agarwala remained actively engaged in the legal profession, is a tribute to his unwavering spirit as to his discipline. His door was open to those who sought his guidance or support, and his willingness to share his knowledge and experience was unmatched. His infectious enthusiasm, resolute principles, and boundless compassion continue to reverberate through the corridors of justice. Born on 10th August 1929 in Najibabad to a renowned business family, Mr. D.K. Agarwal shunned the parental temptation that he join the family business. He moved out of Najibabad to pursue higher education and graduated from the University of Allahabad in 1947, where he received his LLB degree, and later from the University of Delhi in 1952. Mr. D.K. Agarwal enrolled with the Bar Council of the Punjab High Court in 1958 and is an advocate of the Supreme Court of India in 1960. By 1975, he was fully established as an advocate with a flourishing legal practice. Mr. D.K. Agarwal believed in the importance of labor rights. He fought cases for the rights of the workers of textile factories. He specialized in labor and industrial law. He consistently took a stand for marginalized and vulnerable sections of our society. He was an expert in the law relating to education, constitutional law, and company law. During the course of his legal career, Mr. Agarwal tendered evidence before the wage boards and appeared before the national and state level arbitration boards, engaged in the task of determining wages for cement and textile workers. Mr. D.K. Agarwal was designated as a senior counsel by the Delhi High Court on 29 April 1989. A pleasant, smiling, and courteous human being, it was hard to imagine him being ruffled. His positivity in life was infectious, and one can never forget his response to the question, "How are you?" as the speaker before me said, to which he habitually responded, "On top of the world." Throughout his illustrious career, Mr. D.K. Agarwal exemplified high standards of professionalism, integrity, and warmth and generosity that made not just him a noted lawyer, but a good human being as well. His legacy continues to inspire generations of legal practitioners, leaving an indelible mark on India's legal landscape. Mr. Bhagwan Datta was born in 1935 in Muzaffargarh in erstwhile West Punjab. He was in the middle school in 1947 when partition took place. After a perilous train journey, his family managed to reach Delhi. The family stayed in a refugee camp for a considerable period of time. Since the financial condition of the family was precarious, Mr. Datta's education was disrupted and could resume only after a couple of years when his father finally landed a regular job. But this did not hinder his growth or intellectual abilities. Mr. Datta passed his matriculation examination in the early 1950s, completed his BSc from DAV College in Ambala, Kent, and then shifted to Delhi. After completing his law, he joined the chambers of Mr. G.S. Pathak, senior advocate who later became Vice President of India and who was the father of the former Chief Justice, Justice Raghunandan Swarup Pathak. Initially, he was employed as an office assistant, but through dint of hard work, he caught the attention of his senior and started getting opportunities to actively brief and appear with him in important cases. By 1963, his innate talent was finding recognition, and he started getting briefs as a drafting counsel in numerous cases, especially those filed by the redoubtable Jimmy Dadachandji of J.B. Dadachandji and Company, a preeminent firm at that time. He frequently briefed eminent senior counsel of the time, including C.K. Daftari, H.R. Gokhale, and Ashok Sen. He was involved in several significant cases, including those relating to bank nationalization and privy purses. By this point, his practice gained momentum, and there was no looking back. He developed a reputation as an advocate on record in the Supreme Court and regularly appeared in the High Court of Delhi and other high courts. He was a true presence in Niti Bagh, where one would see him early mornings taking his morning constitutional. Mr. Datta kept himself involved in the activities of the Bar Association and the Bar Council. He served as Secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association and was elected as a member of the Bar Council of Delhi on multiple occasions.
और आप हमसे जुड़े रहने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें YouTube पर, फॉलो करें Twitter पर और लाइक करें Facebook पर। और ज्यादा जानकारी के लिए आपको टाइप करना होगा सिर्फ न्यूज़ नशा।